welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Monday, August 29th, 2016. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. Today is a bank holiday in the United Kingdom. No reinsurance or insurance business is being done there today. Operations this morning restarted at Los Angeles International Airport. Last night, terminals were closed as passengers were forced out onto the sidewalks and to the parking areas after police were investigating reports of shots being fired. Police have determined that no shots were fired, nobody was injured. Passengers are now being rescreened for security. A number of flights, about 23 of them, had been diverted, incoming flights, including 4 international ones to other airports. Meanwhile, in Vienna, in Austria, weekend technical problems that left hundreds of passengers stranded at the airport over the weekend have now been resolved and flights are operating normally. Austrian airline spokesperson said that all their passengers were making their planned flights as of Monday after data transmission problems grounded services starting yesterday afternoon. There are 2 big hurricanes that are threatening Hawaii. The first one is Madeline. It's about 750 miles east of Hilo. And behind it is Hurricane Lester. That's strengthened into a hurricane as well. Both are on their way to the Big Island of Hawaii. Madeline's sustained winds right now are about 85 miles per hour. It's expected to strengthen slightly later today. It's going to be a hurricane when it makes its closest approach to Hawaii on the south side, but it's not expected to make a direct hit. Meanwhile, 1,000 miles behind Madeline is Lester, which is already possessed with sustained winds of about 115 miles per hour. It's a little bit farther out, so predictions are obviously not too useful yet. Meanwhile, a storm that's been the subject of many predictions over the past week is Tropical Depression number 9, which, if it ever did move into the category of a hurricane or a tropical storm, would be called Hermine. That has now passed into the other side of Florida. It's in the Gulf. It seems to be a very loosely organized storm. It's got winds of about 35 miles per hour. That's all it is, but it's a fairly big rainmaker. It's about 155 miles west-southwest of Key West. The storm could be a storm that brings about 5 inches of rain to South Florida and the Keys. Cuba could, in fact, receive about 8 inches of rain up in its northwestern tip. The concern with this storm, of course, if it does develop any more organization and begins to move to the north-northwest, it would hit the Gulf Coast and the Louisiana area, which has already been inundated with rain. So if this storm reaches there with 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 inches of rain, it could cause a disaster. Meanwhile, Hurricane Gaston, which is still on the other side of Florida and probably won't make it to the west side of Florida, is a Category 3 storm. It's about 575 miles east of Bermuda. It's got sustained winds of about 115 miles per hour, and there are no alerts for this storm. It's moving to the north-northeast. It's going to blow itself out. Attackers rammed a vehicle through the gates of the Belgian Crime Institute earlier today. They set fire to a lab containing crime scene samples. Immediately, of course, since Belgium is on edge as a result of the suicide bombings in March that killed 32 people, people thought of terrorism. But apparently what it is just regular, plain old criminal activity. The Belgian lab is the headquarters of CSI Belgium, if you will. Evidence is stored there, DNA samples are stored there, forensic evidence is stored there. Apparently, according to the authorities, this is not terrorism, it's a criminal act. We don't know what damage has been done yet because the laboratory has thousands of samples that are there for testing. It's obvious that the perpetrators had an interest in making elements in their justice file disappear. So they took direct action and attacked the facility. One person was killed in a major explosion as it ripped through a facility, chemical plant owned by the company Airgas. It was in Escambia County, Florida, near Pensacola. The facility makes components for airbags. The scene apparently looked like a mini war zone, according to first responders. There was a major explosion with an area of significant structural collapse. There were no gases or chemicals released outside the facility. The gas that exploded was nitrous oxide. There was a rescue of Indian sailors off the coast of Oman earlier this morning. A 45-year-old Omani fisherman became a hero overnight when he went down to the sea to begin his day of fishing. It was still before dawn. He heard noises out in the ocean, and he managed to corral several of his friends, who then went out in 3 small boats to find a huge cargo vessel sinking. The vessel had 69 cars on board, food items, cooking oil, and tires that hit something in the darkness and began to founder. The crew was ready to abandon ship. The Omanis rescued them, brought them back to the boat, and then returned to the sinking vessel to try to rescue it, but they were unsuccessful. The 11 Indian sailors from the Indian state of Gujarat are now safely accommodated in Oman and are expected to be heading home in about 2 days' time. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.